Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd. So my friends over at yarnspirations.com. I'm your host Mikey. Today we're going to do a 5-part mini series. This is episode number 1 of the Mandala Sampler Throw. So what we have here is a beautiful little mandala. They're actually not that hard in order to make them, but you have to be strategic because there's a bit of color changing and there's also surface overlay, which is creating the look of the mandala kind of idea. So we're going to fast forward ourselves to the last page. I'm going to talk to you about that, and I also have a download for you on the crochetcrowd.com. If you follow the link in the more information of this video, you'll be able to have access to that too. So on the last page is a layout, and the layout matches the instructions itself. So you can see that there's 19 different hexagons to make these up. Here is the actual same layout, and it's just showing you what is going where. So what I decided to do is kind of line it up and see what I needed to physically do. So there's actually 4 different types of hexagons. So I did another downloadable for you. It's available on the crochetcrowd.com, and what I decided to do is that I looked at them and I matched it. So like number 1 is number 6. So, or sorry, there's 6 of like number 1, 6 of like number 7, 6 of like number 13. So I color coded where those are. So what you're going to notice in the instructions, there is instructions for each one of these separately because the color sequence is different on every one of them. So let's go back to the instructions and let me show you how to read it. So on the instructions we have hexagon number 1. So the hexagon is going to follow all of this information in order to make it work. And so you'll notice that it's very detailed on the very first time. So hexagon 1 takes you all the way there. You'll notice that hexagon 2, it says it's like number 1, but you're using the different color sequence. So use A for round number 1, B for round number 2 and 3, A for number 4. So I'm going to rely on you to be able to follow that color sequence if you would like to match this completely. So you'll notice that number 1 was all written out. You'll notice that it will happen again in round number 7. So hexagon number 7. So number 7 is slightly different, and if you look at the instructions here, it was like 7. So these are the blues. So, and what's going on with that one is that you need to place your stitch markers strategically in order to do it. So you're going to just be able to follow. It says let's take a look at this one here, number 6. So I don't know my Roman numerals, but I just looked it up. So this is number 6. So make the hexagon like number 1 using etc. Okay, so that's how you're gonna read it. So I'm going to rely on you to be able to do that and to be able to follow that through. And so you'll notice number 13 with something unique. So it has some unique instructions, which that is another particular motif. And I'm moving along, and then you'll see all the rest of them, 14, 15, 16 and etc. and 19 is slightly different, as you can see. So this is how it's going to work, and what I'm going to do is that I'm going to teach you how to do the one hexagon in each of the 4 styles, and then I'm going to leave it to you to look at the instructions and to be able to match the coloring if you would like to do that. So that's my goal today. You'll need a 5.5 millimeter size 5.5 millimeter size I crochet hook, and that's what we're going to be getting today. You're going to notice in this particular project that there's 12 different colors. What a great scrap grand project. So if you have yarn lying around that you would like to get rid of, this is a great opportunity to be able to have fun and play. So what I would think about doing if I were you and you were me and you were not following the color sequence as they're suggesting, do all of the 6 and the 6 and the 6 and then do the 1 and just lay it out on the table or floor or whatever and kind of look at it from a distance and see if everything's gonna kind of line up before you decide to make that commitment to join them. And the last video of this series we are going to join them using an invisible join, and then there's a quick little border just to go around this thing. So let's move on to episode number 1. In episode number 1, which is today, we are going to focus on the like number 1, and you can see it's color coded. So it's this one, just like you see on screen. So you can follow the color sequence that it's suggesting. I'm going to show you just number 1, and then you can change the color sequences for yourself, and then we'll do the quick surface overlay at the very end of this. So without further ado, let's move along to number 1. Grab your 5.5 millimeter size I crochet hook and let's begin to play. Full transparency, I'm just gonna randomize my color, but the color A here, the white, is actually strategic within this whole project. So make sure that if you are going to change your project, make sure that A is something that's consistent with it. And I'm sorry that it's white on a white background. We're gonna try our best. We don't have this on the hook for very long. Create a slip knot and let's begin by chaining 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. And now let's insert into the beginning chain and yarning over, pulling it through and through and now you have the starting circle of your hexagon. Let's move along to round number 1. We're going to immediately and start getting the hexagon shape right away. So to begin we need to chain 1 first. Then we're going to single crochet into the ring, and then we need to already turn a corner. So the corners are going to be chain 2, and then you're gonna single crochet back into the ring. And you need a total count of these 6 single crochets in the ring with chain 2s that separate them. So you're gonna chain 2 and then single crochet back in. So chain 2, and noticing that I'm putting the straggler around the outside so it gets stuck underneath so I don't have to sew that later. So now I'm just going to come close to the end so that I'm putting in my last one. Don't get confused by that chain 1 being a stitch, because it's not. So I have 1 2 3 4 5 6, and make sure I chain 2, and I am going to just join it to the top of the first single crochet, and this yarn is officially done. So this color. So I'm going to show you only once on how to fasten off in today's video. To fasten off, just leave a little bit of a longer strand, and I would think about doing this because you are going to have to change your yarns unless you're using self-striping yarns or solid colors if you wish. It's up to you. And just pull it tight. Turn it over to the back side of the work once you get this into a tapestry needle. So turn it over to the back side and just run it through some of the stitch work on the back. If you stay close to the edge you will probably capture it in the next round, which will help secure it even more. So go 1 and then back in the other direction for 2, and finally back in the other direction for 3. Okay, so that's now done. If you went over the straggler, that's also then probably buried as well, so you can cut that as well, and we're gonna be good to go, and we're gonna start with round number 2 with a new color, and you can look at the color sequence available on the pattern. So let's begin number 2. Now you're gonna go to any chain 2 space. It doesn't matter which one you pick. What I'm going to recommend to you is to do a standing single crochet, and this also came as a recommendation to somebody else that finished. So this is a chain 2. So you're gonna go in. I want you to start off with a standing single crochet instead of joining it chain 1 and single crocheting. They were saying, and I would agree with this too, it bulks out the very beginning stitch, which kind of is very visible. So if you just put it onto your hook and then just pull it through, and then you have 2 loops on the hook, just yarn over and pull through, and that's a standing single crochet. And so what I need you to do then is chain 2, and in the same chain 2 that you were just in, just shift it if you have to, just single crochet again. Now for this round all we just need to do after we get that done is to move along to the next chain 2 space. So you're going to single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, and then go to the next space. And I want you to do that all the way around, and you should physically see 6 sides starting to appear at the end of this revolution, and I'll see you at the end of this revolution in just a moment. So you're going to come all the way around, and you're going to slip stitch to the top of the first standing single crochet. So you can kind of see there is the hexagon shape. We're gonna carry this color across according to the pattern, and we're going to begin, and we're going to start off, and we're going to move into the next chain 2 space. But let's start round number 3 in just a second. So let's begin. You can either slip stitch over to the chain 2 like this, and then chain 1, and then single crochet back in just like that, and then chain 2 and single crochet. Or if you don't like that because of the extra chain 1, what you can do right where you're sitting before you start, you can immediately, and Jeannie would do this too, is just single crochet right into that chain 2. So don't chain slip stitch over, just single crochet, chain 2 and single crochet. It's your call on what you would like to do. You're going to skip the next stitch here and go to the second over, single crochet, and then do the next corner. So it's right here. So you'll single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. So you'll skip the first one out, go to the second, single crochet first, and then go to the next chain 2, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. So skipping the first one, go to the second, and then the corner. So single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, skipping the first one, go to the second, corner, keeping an eye on where you stopped and started is just easier. So skipping the next one, single crochet in the next, and then this is the last corner. So single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, and you're gonna skip the next one, single crochet in the next one after that, and then join it to the first single crochet that you started with. And that's it. So for this one here, this is round number 3. You're gonna fasten off this color, and I will start on round number 4 in just a moment. So for number 4, we're switching back to the color A. Again, remember what I told you, that's the consistency, and you need to draw up a loop here on a corner. So you're just gonna go into the loop, and what I'm recommending you're supposed to draw up a loop, but I would do a standing single crochet like you had been, and it will just make a nice cleaner look. And when you do that, you're going to chain 2, and you're going to single crochet in the same one. You're going to skip the first one that's coming out of that, and you're gonna go and single crochet the next 2. So 1 and 2, and then you're gonna go right into the space, which is the next corner. So single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. So skipping the first one out and do the next 2 in a row, and then the corner is the same. So single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. So we're gonna speed up the tutorial a little bit, and those are the instructions, and I'll see you when you get around. And make sure you fasten off at the end as well. So I'm coming up all the way around, and I'm just doing my last 2, and just slip stitch to the top of the standing single crochet, and then we'll begin round number 5 in just a moment. So we'll switch to a new color and fasten off, and I'll be right back. Let's begin round number 5. Choose any side corner. Again, start with the standing single crochet, and then chain 2 and single crochet. So like before, you're going to skip the first one out of the corner and single crochet the rest, noticing that I'm going right up over top of the straggler to get that hidden into position. And once those 3 are done, you're gonna go right to the next corner. So single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. So the repeat on this thing is skip the first one out from a corner, single crochet the remaining to the next corner, and then do your corner, and then continue around. I'll see you at the end of this round. This is round number 5. So I'm coming up to the end of number 5. I'm just going to slip stitch to the beginning, single crochet, it's a standing one, and we're gonna keep this color on for one more time. So you have a choice to make. Remember what I showed you before. You can either slip stitch to the next chain 2 space, or just immediately just single crochet in the next space. It'll look a little more cleaner if you do. Just don't slip stitch in chain 1, just single crochet in the first one. So chaining 2, and then you're going to single crochet in the same one, skipping the first one back out, and then you're going to single crochet the remaining all the way to the other side. The pattern gives you the number of counts across as well. So once you get that done, next one, next corner, chain single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, and then make sure you skip the first one out and single crochet the remaining to the next corner. Please do this all the way around. This is round number 6. So I'm coming around to the end of number 6. This is the last one going in, and I'm just going to slip stitch it and join it to the top of the first single crochet. So this is gonna finish this color. We're going to fasten off, and we're gonna bring back white as we move on to round number 7 in just a moment. So round number 7, we're going to bring back white. You already basically know what you're doing at this point. So you're gonna go to a chain 2 space corner, just do a standing single, chain 2, and single crochet back into the corner, and again skipping the first one out of a corner and single crochet the remaining all the way to the next corner. And then when you get to the next corner, you know what you're doing. It's single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. Please do this all the way around. This is round number 7. So coming up to the end of number 7, just get rid of this yarn, so just slip stitch to the first standing single, and we're gonna do number 8 and 9 next, and using a different color once again. So the repeat pattern has been established in this. So 8 and 9 we're going to use our two rounds of the same color, and again just like before, just go into your corners to start with the standing single and then chain 2 and single crochet in the same. Then you're going to skip the first one out and single crochet all the way to the end of the row there, so end to the side, and then what I want you to do is just turn the corner like you normally had been, so it's single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. So what I'm going to leave for you at this moment is that I want you to do this round, plus I want you to do round number 9. It's using the same color, so like I showed you before on how to keep that color moving along, and I will see you at the end of round number 9 in just a moment. When you get to the end of number 9, you're just slip stitching to the top of the first one, and then we're going to do round number 10, which will be bringing back the white, and I'll just quickly go over that with you. It's already what you know, but we'll just quickly talk about it, and we'll begin number 10 in just a second. So round number 10, any chain 2 space will do. You can do your standing single, so you gotta make sure you put that on first and then go into it. Do a standing single and do your corners as you already know it. So single, chain 2, single, and then of course you're gonna skip the first one out, okay, and just go to the second and do each one, and then you'll do the next corner, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, skip the first one, and then single crochet the remaining to the next corner. I'll see you at the end of round number 10 in just a moment. So coming all the way around on number 10, just slip stitch. Let's get rid of this yarn and move on to round number 11 and 12 with the new color once again. Let's begin 11 and 12, and we're going to start off in any chain 2 space. Do you notice I never start in the same round? I always like switching it around so you don't end up getting a line of slip stitching. It's just my own personal preference. So I'm gonna start up like I normally do. We are doing 11 and 12, just as what you already know. So a standing single and then a single, and then you're skipping the first one out and single crochet across. Do your corners always the same, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. When you get back around, do another round of that, just like I said before, just a single crochet right into the corner when you go to start, and carry on. So do rounds number 11 and 12 now, and then we'll be back to doing white after that again. Okay, I'm finishing up number 12, and this is where I'm going to then slip stitch to the top of the first single crochet. So let's fasten this off and let's move on to round number 13, bringing back the color A in this case. So let's do that. So you see that's kind of the consistency of this one. Okay, number 13, you already know what you're doing. You're just going to join to any chain 2 space, and then create your corners to chain 2 and single crochet back in. Now you're just going to skip the first one as always and just continue around as you already know it. And the corners are single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. This is round number 13. You should already know what you're doing at this point, and I'll see you at the end of this round. Just coming around on number 13, lucky 13, just join and get rid of this color, and we're going to move 14 and 15 next. Okay, 14 and 15 are next. They're already what you already know. Just start with the standing single, chain 2 and single. Of course you're going to skip that first one like you normally would have. Okay, so you're skipping the first one out and just single crochet all the rest, and then in your corners it's single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. Then in round number 15 you're just going to continue with this color one more time, so single crochet right into the corner, chain 2, single crochet, and continue around with what you already know. So please do rounds number 14 and 15, and then we have one final round to do, and then this particular motif is done. So I just finished off round number 15. We have one more round to do. We're going back to the white for one more time, just once around, and then that's it, and then we're gonna do our surface overlay. So let's get ready for round number 16. Round number 16 is the last round before the choo-choo ride is over, before you insert another corner to keep that bucking horse going up and down in the supermarket. So this is going to change. So we joined at chain 2, single crochet, so it's already what you know. It's just a matter of following it around. So skipping the first one out and single crocheting the rest and doing your corners. So please do this final round all the way around, and then we'll be back, and then I'm gonna show you surface overlay in just a few moments from now. So I'm coming up on the last one. This is round number 16, finishing. I'm going to do one surface overlay on my own without showing you, and then I will have something to reference, and then I'll be right back in just a moment. So get rid of this yarn and we're going to surface overlay then 6 times. So I'm going to show you some tips in just a second. Our next part of the process now is that we are going to surface overlay. Now I'm gonna give you some tips here that is not written anywhere because it's just my own thing. I love surface overlaying. It's a lot of fun and it acts like a sewing machine in your hand. See this loose one? It's because it's not secured. So if you weren't watching me, what I would do is I'd do all my surface overlay and then I would secure in my ends at the end. So there's a trick on how to get started so you don't end up with a knot on the good side, and honestly because the outside is white and we're using this, we're going to just weave in the ends there. So let's begin, and I'm gonna show you how to do this, and we're following the chain 2 spaces. So there's going to be a total of 6 of these as you go all the way around. So let's get our yarn ready and surface overlay. Before you begin, you need to create a long tail so that you can use a tapestry needle later. Now you're going to work with the yarn behind the project so that your hook is going to act like a sewing machine. So stick the hook down into the center of your motif and just flip it back if you can't see it. And you're going to loop this. You're not gonna create a slip knot, and you're going to pull that through back to the other side. So the starting one is gonna be a little bit loose until you secure it, which I will show you. So you're going to go into each one of these chain 2 space. So you're gonna go in, and with your hand you can put this around the strand, around like you would with regular crochet, so it's in behind, and you're going to feed it through. So then you go to the next one. So in, and then just wrap and pull through. You want it to be a little bit flexible, so you don't want to be too tight so that you don't ruin the look of your motif, and you're just going to loosely surface overlay in the chain 2 space all the way to the outside. So usually I don't turn it to look behind. I can just feel it with my hands and just follow this chain 2 space all the way to the outside. So those Spider-Man blankets, this is how they do it. So you can crochet out your hexagon or your octagon shape, and then you surface overlay to create the spider web look, and then the white that we used makes it look like it's been strategic. So you can surface overlay pretty much anything. I love surface overlay. Explaining it is a different story. So I'm gonna come right to the very end to the outside, and then that's where my story is gonna end. So I'm going to leave this as a long tail. So I'm going to surface overlay the other off camera, but what I want to do is that I want to show you how to pin this back on the back side using a tapestry needle. So that'll be the trick. Oh yeah, before I leave you, just take this one and just pull it through so it locks it, and then we'll fasten that in too. So let's turn it over and then look at the back side. You're gonna have your tails coming out, so you wanna pull on your tails so that it looks like it's an even stitch in the front. Now because it's the same color, you're going to weave it into the same section but on the back. And the trick is that you weave it back and forth a total of 3 times. So staying within the white, just go back and forth within this back section within the white only. So once, and a slightly different path, twice, and then 3 times. Like that. And then once you have that done, you can fasten that off. So you'll do that with all of the ones in the middle. On the ones on the outside here, same deal. You're just gonna weave it in the back side 3 times. So just stay in the back. And don't interfere with the edge, because the edge is what you're going to sew your projects or your motifs to each other. So pull snug so it's firm, and go back and forth. So 3 times is a charm. That's the secret. So I want you to do this, and I want you to surface overlay all of your 6 spokes that you have, and now you know how to do it. So you just have to complete the rest of the motifs that are in here as well. And you can be strategic too. You can like skip stuff. You can do whatever you want. So I'll see you again, and we'll just quickly just round this off in just a second. So this is what it will look like at the end. I would steam block this or get a steamer or just spray it with the damp or spray it with some water and then press it flat and then let it dry, and I would do that with all of them, by the way. So now this is done. The only difference between the rest of the other ones, so there's 6 total, is just the color sequence, and you can find that sequence on the pattern itself. So this is how you do hexagon number 1, and you can match it up to whatever one you would like to do. So let's take a look quickly at the instruction here. So you can see that we just did number 1, so it's all the ones in the pink, and you can put those aside, and we'll be back next time as we continue our journey into the next hexagon, which will be number 7, and you can see number 7 will be the ones that we're filling in here. Let's see you next time and have a good day. Bye bye.